Hi, this is Sherry. I'm coming at you from Canyon Lake. And we're having a monsoon. Whoa! Of course it's gonna do this right the second I start recording. It's been kind of calm. But look at the palm trees. The boat's tied up, my canoe's up here so it won't float away. And look how high the water is. It's so funny, you know, most people are in their jammies on rainy, cold, windy days. And if there's lightning or like a thunderstorm or a monsoon, I need to be outside. It's just what I do. We still have a little sun, but I am gonna kind of come underneath here where it's a little less, you know, exposed to the elements. So anyway, what we're gonna do is the animal totem that I'm working with today is scorpion. My attention's been brought to spiders lately, big spiders and scorpions, and I thought, well, maybe it'll be tarantula that we're talking about, but scorpion came up. So the scorpion message is the first we're going to talk about, and the scorpion's message, the wisdom, is about waiting. It's about waiting to uncover what is hidden, and it's talking about timing, and the calculation of this is essential. It talks about navigating your actions according to what your intuition is telling you. So, you know what? I'm going to let you guys look around because this is super cool. It looks like the ocean out there with the white caps on the water. Oh my gosh, somebody just blew their patio umbrella, just completely blew over somebody's house. Anyway, so check out, you watch out there while I'm doing this. Okay, so what's going on is the scorpion is telling you what's started is now going to produce results. But if you're patient, you need to be patient at this time. You need to allow things to be uncovered. It talks about patience and rebirth. And we've been having a lot about rebirth lately, haven't we? Look over there, the white caps. Oh, if you guys can see this, it's so cool. So basically, it's all about keeping your instincts sharp. It's talking about things that are going to be brought to light. They're going to find, and it's teaching you how to find your place in the whole scheme of things. You know, how to find your tap into your awareness and your tenacity. It talks about, you know, scorpions are tough little suckers. So it talks about keeping your instincts sharp, and it talks about being ready. And if you're paying attention to your instincts, you will be ready, and you will be correct. And it talks about defending and attacking when needed. It talks about stealth, that's also needed. So the timing and the balance is what comes into play, because you've got patience, waiting for the right opportunity, and you're talking about stealth, but they're also talking about knowing when to attack. So it's like, you know, when the time is right, you'll get the message, woo! And that's when it'll be, if you're paying attention to your intuition. And the ones who feel a connection to scorpion, they learn to use self-defense and preparedness to their advantage. Yeah, like me, I'm being smart, I'm being prepared, I'm staying underneath here because this wind's gonna be gnarly. Look at that little tiny duck right there. Oh, it's a baby. So cute. What are you doing? That's me. That's me. He's just shaking his little tail feathers. How funny. I want to get him a little closer. Look at him. No one else is out but that little guy. I so get it. Okay. Oh, sorry, I keep regressing, but this is so fun for me. So anyway, the ones that are attached to scorpion, you know, that's your totem. It talks about, you know, they know how to use their self-defense. They know how to be stealthy. They talk about they're vigilant, you know, they're persistent. Oh, look at them trying to fly. Tried to fly in the wind and it's not happening. So that one's got to think a little bit more, right? That one's got to go undercover pretty soon. So it talks about the scorpion's molt, which is interesting. It talks about, you know, I think about other animals molting, but I don't think about scorpions molting, you know? But the scorpions molt, and they molt many, many times in their lifespan. So that's what we're talking about, metamorphosis and rebirth and regeneration. So it's talking about the lessons and the things that you've been through. You're changing, you're constantly changing, you're shedding your old skin, kind of like a snake. So it's like a rebirth that's happening. And they're talking about you need to be open to change because the lessons are coming for you. They talk about being passionate, fearless, waiting for the right opportunity to strike, which kind of brings to mind what my totem animal that came running to me yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I I don't know what made me go outside. I was working, and I was talking on the phone, and I went to my patio door, and I looked, and running across towards me was a praying mantis. And it was cool because I've never seen one run. I mean, it literally ran right at me, and it gave me a message. Because normally, the message for the praying mantis, much like the scorpion, is patience, the art of stillness, stealth, and knowing when to strike at the right opportunity. So the fact that it was running towards me was telling me now's the time to move. And then it stopped. And I went out this morning, and I was moving because of this wind. I was moving everything off my patio, and I'm folding down. You know, I have an antique Indian screen that I have, you know, sitting out there with all my Buddhas and stuff. So I'm folding it up because I knew it would get ripped over and broken with this wind. And as I'm moving everything inside, there's that little praying mantis. It was sitting there looking at me. And so what's interesting is now, I made my move yesterday too. And it says, once you make your move, now you know when to pull back. So, look at all those birds. Oh, look at them diving. So cool. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Working with the wind, right? Look at that one go. Woo, they're having fun. Okay. So what else is it telling us? It talks about the scorpion. If you call on the scorpion, it's going to aid you in uncovering hidden things. Things that we've been getting a lot of messages that secrets are going to be revealed and things are going to be coming to the surface. So call upon the scorpion if you're trying to understand something and you're trying to get the message of what scorpion can give you. You're calling on the medicine of scorpion to uncover these hidden things. Also, it gives you the tenacity and the timing to work so that you've got kind of like a cunning, a calculating, it sounds terrible, but it's necessary, right? At times you need to be that. So it gives you the timing. Also, they use their navigation through their intuition, just like we're told to. Again, talking about what is started now. What is started now is going to bring results. So the work that we take, the steps that we take at this time are going to bring the results that we need. Oh, I can't get over this. This is so cool. I'm super glad I came down here. And it says, and what they're talking about is, you may move on something right now, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the results are going to happen immediately, but they will produce results if you move on it. So they're telling you, keep aware, keep your tenacity up, follow your instincts, pay attention, and get ready. And you'll know when to attack, and you'll know when also, not only just to attack, but when to defend. Because maybe you're going to be under attack, and you're going to need to defend yourself. Oh my gosh, this is going to be, I can't get over, there's nothing more exciting to me than that. Look at the waves, look at an ocean out there. Blue sky still too though, huh? Very cool. That's why I got my glasses, but it's too bright for me not to have my sunglasses on. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this the whole time, I know. But whoever's not around here to enjoy this is so fun. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, the deck we're going to be working with, Magdalene Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. I've got my assistants right here. And I'm going to, let's see, how am I going to do this? I think I'll let you guys kind of watch because who knows what's going to happen out there. The first card, you know what? I wonder if I should go inside here. They did say I should use my head. So maybe I'll come in where it's a little less hysterical because it's pretty wild. Okay. And also, I don't want the wind to be blowing into the the camera so that you guys can't hear what I'm saying. Now these cards, I know what the messages are, so there's not a lot of depiction on the pictures for you to look at to give you an idea, because a lot of times I'll get the cards and I'll read the cards first, the pictures on the cards, but these ones don't have a lot, so just give you a heads up. So this one is liberation, and you can see, I don't know what's going on, there's a lot going on here. There's tears pouring down this person's face, but there's a third eye and there's a star. It's kind of like stoic expression. And it talks about hurt and disappointment. That right now a person who has recently maybe disappointed you or hurt you is in some way a reflection of yourself. Because everything that we experience in our life, everything that we experience is actually a mirror of ourselves. A lot of times people don't understand it and they don't believe that, but it's true. that there's some aspect of yourself that is being represented that you need to take a peek at. So they're talking about, regardless of whether you know, regardless of whether you have been disappointed, all of the events in your life, whether you like them or you feel that they're good or bad, they're all to teach us a lesson. They're all about teaching. So in effect, it's all an act of love, which sounds kind of strange if something hurts you, but literally that's what it is. It's about teaching us so that we can grow and learn from this. And it talks about what it's doing is when you see a mirror, when you see something about somebody else that you don't like. Here, I'm going to let you up there. When you see something about somebody else that you don't like, it's actually a mirrored aspect of something in yourself that you're not happy with, or that you have issues with that you need to face. So it talks about the more that you can learn and examine what it is that you don't like about yourself, and learn to love that aspect of yourself, it helps you to be more compassionate and understand other people. So you have less of a judgmental attitude. You can be more forgiving and more loving towards another because you actually see that aspect in yourself as well. And you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the message if you're not honest. You have to totally be honest with yourself, you know, and be really willing to look at your own shadow, because a lot of times people that that they're so focused on what somebody else is doing that they don't recognize what they've done. Or maybe it's at a different time in their life. Maybe it's not even at this particular time that you're going through this. But at some time in your life, you've done the same thing. And that's kind of what karma is. Actually, that is what karma is. Karma is just a reflection of, you throw a rock in the pond, there's going to be a ripple effect. And when we say, wow, when somebody does something really awful to somebody, you're thinking, wow, karma's going to come back. And it's not like it's a punishment. It's just a reaction. And it may not come back at that particular time with that particular person in that particular event, but it does come back around in your life. So when you're sitting here trying to look into yourself and see when did I do something like that? When was I feeling that way? Or when did I react or behave or treat somebody in this manner? And recognize that's why it bugs you, because this is something of yourself that Spirit's wanting you to face and look at. So it talks about loving yourself. Stop placing unreasonable expectations on yourself as well as on others, because I posted something about that today. Talked about not feeling the need to live up to others' expectations. This is your life, and what my comment is I have high enough expectations of myself without having to live up to yours. So sometimes our expectations are too high for ourselves. I find that I have very high expectations for myself, so I have to kind of check myself and recognize that just because maybe I've learned a lesson and I've come to this place in my life with a certain action or feeling or event or whatever it is, that maybe somebody else in my life hasn't. Maybe they've learned something else, but maybe they're not at that same place as me. So it talks about acceptance not only for self but for others as well, and it kind of gives you a sense of freedom when you look at things that way, because you've taken away the judgment, you've taken away the expectation. Expectation is a sure way to get yourself unhappy. Don't ever have expectations of anything, because nobody owes you anything, and you never know what's going to happen. And just it's a way to make yourself depressed, seriously, to have expectations. Okay, the next message, and this one again, there's not a lot to look at. It's called Sofia. Now these are the colors. This is the color of love, right? Pink, heart. This is a peony. You think about love. Even the name Sofia is a soft name. Well, sorry. So what it's telling us is that there's somebody in your life right now that is very dear to you, actually, and they need your love and support at right now, and possibly, and most likely, according to the way these messages are coming through today, they probably need your forgiveness. So what Spirit is suggesting, and not suggesting, but they're encouraging you to set aside your disagreements. Whatever recent disagreements you've had, let it go and make up with this person, because deep down you both know you love each other. And sometimes it takes, we should all be feeling this way, but sometimes it takes one other person to be the bigger one. It takes somebody has to make a first move. Somebody has to make a move and apologize, or somebody has to make a move and say, it's okay, I love you, or just drop it. I'm not even big on apologies myself. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm an Aries, and when I get mad and I get upset, I blow up and I'm huge, it's big. But then I calm down and I'm pretty much over it. If somebody shows me that that they're regretful of what they've said or what they've done. That's good enough for me. You know, I'm not even comfortable with people apologizing to me, which I guess I should learn to do that. But they're saying that, you know, right now between you and this other individual, you love each other. There's no point in holding this wall between the two of you, this grudge or whatever it is. Life's too short. I mean, what if you woke up tomorrow and they were dead? Like, seriously, it happens. Think about it. This year, so many people are dying. People are checking out. They're like, I'm done with this whole planet. We're out of here. Left, right, and center, people are going, and a lot of them in their 70s, which to me seems really young. My grandmother was like, I don't know, 98, and her mom was 103, and I definitely plan on being around for a while. So, but you never know, right? You never know what happens. My little sister was killed in a car accident when she was 16. Yeah, bam, who knew? She went to the beach, and on the way home, that was the end. And actually, she was in a fight with my parents, and it blew my parents' marriage apart because the grief that, you know, life was too short. It's like, are you kidding? I can't believe that we did this. And so make up. Honor and respect the differences in each other, because you're not the same. You don't look at things exactly the same. You know, everybody has their own way of looking at things. You may look at that and think, no, you know what? This is what they said and this is what they did. And, you know, you explain it to me and I think, well, yeah, it sounds pretty, you know, clear cut. But if you were coming from the other person's perspective, they may have the exact same scenario going on their side. They may be looking at things from a different perspective. And to them, you know, they're looking at things like it's not fair to them. So basically the whole thing is, forget the whole thing about being fair and just remember, you love each other. What do you want? Do you want this person in your life? Look at the crane. Oh, it's not a crane. It's a, oh, what are they called? Come on, Sherry. Egret, a white egret. Love those in the wind. Anyway, so what they're saying for you right now is, if you can let this go, if you can move forward, you want to move forward, and you know, a lot of times people are just waiting for the other person to make a move or take a look at them. And I mean, if somebody came up to me, all I'd have to do is see their face and it would be over. That's it. That's the way it works. And you know, a lot of times we're afraid to make a move. A lot of times we're afraid that the person's going to be angry, or they're not going to forgive us, or they're going to, never mind forgive us. Maybe you feel it's like a two-way street, right? You both have misunderstood each other, but you don't want to get into it. You don't want to bring it up again. You don't want to have an ongoing fight. But then you're projecting, aren't you? You're projecting onto them what you think is going to happen, and that may not be the case at all. And according to the message that we're being given right now, that isn't the case. That is not the case. Both people love the other. Both people want this disagreement to end. Both people want to make up. So do it. And if somebody makes a move towards you, accept it, and let go of the false pride, which is totally an ego-based, horrible flaw as far as what I mean, we shouldn't talk about that, but it's an ego-based emotion, which is useless and actually quite destructive. So they're telling you that once you do this, once you forgive, what opens up for you is amazing. This whole hair thing is like driving me nuts. I should have put my hair in a ponytail. Okay, so the next message that's coming, and I want to tell you about this message. Whenever I get this message, it always happens. It's very, very, it's a difficult one to deal with. So I'm going to prepare you for that right now. So this is the message. It's called The Secret. And what it's telling you is, very soon someone is going to confide in you some information, and it's probably going to, what they're going to tell you, or what you're, and it could be that maybe you learn it in a different way. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to confide in you, but somehow you're going to find information. A lot of times for me, I get information through dreams or other messages. But this is something that you're going to know. And the information that you get is, it might shock you. It might really upset you. You're going to be disturbed because you're going to be torn between two people that you care about. That's the part that's so tricky about this. So now you've got this dilemma. What am I supposed to do? Great. You know, I'm stuck in the middle. What is the right thing to do? You know, should I divulge the information that I know? Should I let one of the people know? Or should I keep it to myself? You know, a lot of times people say, well, the best, don't get involved. It's not my monkey, not my war. I'm not getting involved. But in this situation, what Spirit's telling you is, you're going to know in your heart. Ultimately, you have to be true to yourself. And actually, what they're saying is, you're going to have to speak. And so when you do this, it's going to be definitely causing a problem. When you speak up, there's going to be an upheaval. There's going to be upset. I've had this happen before for somebody Actually, I've had it with family members, and I've had it with the man that I love, and the information that I was given I had to divulge, and I was scared to. I didn't want to do it because I knew they were going to be upset, and they were, and it caused a problem. And so sometimes it feels like there's a ramification or a, what's the word? Consequence, you know, for you know, a lot of times you think, oh, just what I get for shooting my mouth off. But that's not what the situation is here. They're telling you that though this is going to reveal problems when you tell the secret, it's actually going to eventually settle down, and your honesty and your courage, because that's what it takes a lot of times for anybody to step in. I'm outspoken and I can speak, but even I've had the fear of having to divulge something that I've been given. You don't want to be caught between two people you love, you know, or two people that you care about, two friends, and it's a rotten feeling to be stuck in the middle. But they're saying it's going to cause the upheaval, but then things are going to settle down, and your honesty and your courage is going to be appreciated. And they want you to not dwell on feelings of feeling guilty. They don't want you to feel guilty, because this is happening for a reason. Spirit is bringing and using you as the catalyst to bring this forward. And it's going to be, even though it's going to be difficult at first, there's a hidden blessing involved for everybody. Everybody it talks about. And it's going to be a sense of relief that's going to come over the whole situation. There's going to be hurt feelings. People are going to be wounded. Yes, you're going to have all these things that you're going to have to deal with, but it's for the highest good of everyone involved, not just you, not just them. They talk about the results that will be positive, that will come to everyone. And it may take a little while for others to understand this, but they will in time. But the only way that this can happen is by you stepping forward. The only way that this can happen is by you embracing your courage and trusting in your higher self and spirit, trusting in the guidance that you're getting. Now, I'm telling you, you're going to know it when it comes. This is not going to be something that is, you know, was this it? I wonder if I should do that. You're going to know when it comes. And so remember this. It may not come right away, but when it does come up, remember that Spirit's telling you this is what is in your highest good and everybody else's highest good. Getting blinded by little hairs on my face. Okay, so I'm sorry to give you that message, because it's definitely always one that's difficult to handle. But like I said, it's definitely going to be something that's going to be for everybody's highest good in the end. Okay, I've got several cards today. So the next one, ooh, look at our little loons. The next one is decision. All right, full moon. I'm wondering if the decision is coming around the time of the full moon. The fact that they're showing me the full moon, I know that that's not till a little ways away. But it's talking about there's a decision, and an important one, that you're going to have to make coming up soon. And it's going to affect, and it's probably, to me, I believe that all of this has to do, I believe they're all connected. So it may have to do with the secret that you just, we were told about. And so now here you are making the decision. So it's going to affect everybody around you for a very long time. But they're telling you, like it said before, go into your heart and examine your heart and trust. What is it truly that, what is my heart saying? What is it that is in the highest good? You're going to pay attention. You're going to remember what Spirit's told you. And you need to really know what you want to say and do before you act. Have a plan. Take a few breaths. Take a little time out. Pray about it. Ask Spirit for confirmation again. Is this it? Is this the one? Is this what I should do? Is this what's in my highest good? Could you, maybe give me a few tips? When you ask Spirit for direction, they get very specific. And it comes in many different ways. It can come on a post on the internet. It can come through a movie. It can come through a conversation that you hear. It may come in a dream. You might just get a thought. Sometimes it comes on the radio. I've literally had commercials on the radio, and it's given me the answer specifically to something I had just asked. So they're telling you, do that. And when you know, gosh, this is nuts. This is crazy. When you know, let's watch the birds out there. When you know what you're supposed to do, and recognize that everything you do and say and everything you don't do and say has an effect on everyone else around you. So they're telling you that a positive effect can be achieved, just like the secret. Oh, look, here comes the whooping crane. Oh, it got blown away. He might come up again. I'm going to keep looking in this direction. So they're saying that it will have a positive effect. And it can be achieved, just like we were told before with the secret, only by you being true to yourself and following your guidance and listening to what your heart is saying. So they're telling you the right decision is clearly one that is sitting comfortably inside your heart. You know, sometimes we need to do things, and it's scary, but we know that that's what we're meant to do. It's different than when we have a decision to make and we're not sure, and we have that kind of nervous feeling. That then you don't want to do it. But when you have you know deep down, you know, ugh, I've got a rotten feeling in my stomach. My stomach's upset and nervous. Here comes the bird trying again. Look at him. Yeah, baby. Woo! Good one. There it goes. Come on, little egret. This one is. Oh, I love it. So when you find out that this is what's setting in my heart comfortably, they're telling you, do it. That's the decision that you're making. And again, they're telling you not to make the decision based on guilt. There's a lot of, I have a feeling that whatever's going to be coming up, you're going to have people that are going to try and make you feel guilty. They're going to try and project their feelings onto you. Use maybe the position. Maybe these are family members. You know, maybe. I don't know what it is, but somehow you're gonna have somebody that's gonna try and make you feel bad for it, play on your emotions, and or maybe it might be to yourself that you're thinking, you know, I can't do this to this person. I should be loyal, and they're saying that you have to be loyal to yourself. And Spirit's already telling you that it's in your highest good and in theirs as well. So no decisions bailed. I'm hiding behind a pole because it's like blowing me away. No decisions based on guilt or what you think that you should do. That's the worst thing ever. Never ever make a decision and never do anything because you feel guilty. Never do anything because you should. You know, in dreams, when something goes to the right, that's because your subconscious mind is saying that that's the way people say that's the right thing to do. So you're going to the right. When actually, it's when you go to your left is what you're doing when you're doing something you're supposed to be doing because you're following your heart. So be true to yourself, and only by being true to yourself are you able to be true to anyone else, right? You have to be honorable. So that's that message. And then I think we have two more. Wow, it's going to get pretty gnarly out here. The last oh no, this isn't the last one. We've got one more after this one. Okay. Where is it? Surrender. So it talks like right now, this girl, she's just given up. She's naked, which means she's vulnerable. She's gone to sleep. She's kind of, you know, which means I kind of feel like that's where we're at right now. Like a lot of these birds, they've kind of given up because what's the point of flowing into a hurricane, right? So what they're saying is the more you try and do something, the more it eludes you. When we were looking out there, I don't know if you can see right now, but the little duck was trying to fly. There was no way. The egret, he got up and he went a little ways, but he's gone down again too. So they're talking about, you know, no matter how hard you want something to happen right now, at the present moment, there's really nothing you can do about it except for sit it out and wait, right? Like it's time to come to high shore. It's come to, oh, it reminds me of the message that I was given in my dream, and it's been rolling around in my head for quite a while. I've gotten a dream about 2 weeks ago, and I heard a sentence. Actually, I don't think I was sleeping. It was, I was definitely lucid. And what I heard was, when the great wave comes, go to the mountain with the tablets. And it was torturing me for the longest time. What did they mean? What did they mean? Well, check out the water out there. A great wave, water is emotion. So right now things are turbulent. So when the great wave comes, when this whole emotional experience comes, go to the mountain. The mountain is your higher self. It also represents God or spirit, you know, the higher, an elevated perspective. And you think about in the Ten Commandments, Moses was on Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai, and when he was given the Ten Commandments, and in the dream, what I heard was go to the higher mountain, or go to the mountain with the tablets. So the tablets represents the law, or because the Ten Commandments were the law, but they were also, you think about what it was: do not murder, do not steal, do not commit adultery. They were more. It was morality. So it's talking about integrity. So go to the mountain, pull yourself to a place of safety. Go to your higher self, check in with your integrity, stand in your integrity. So that's what they're telling you right now. There's not much you can do to this, but pull in, surrender. And they're also telling you to wait. There might be some aspect of yourself in this situation, like I said, you're going to have to allow things to play out. Also, again, we hear the word expectation. Surrender any expectations. Expectations are not good to have. you're gonna get, then they're telling you you're gonna get what you want. What you're because we've already been shown that everything's going to turn out well for everyone. And what it is in this situation, if it isn't necessarily the secret, if it's some other thing that possibly that you're trying to have happen in your life and it's just eluding you at this moment, they're telling you right now, you're going to get what you want. But it may not come in the form that you expect. It may not come in the way that you expect. That's why we want to surrender expectations, because things don't necessarily always come in the way that we imagine. We've got in our own mind a set of circumstances. We think we've got this little box, and they're saying, step outside of the box. Don't ever put spirit in a box, because they have ways of pulling things out of a hat, like a rabbit out of a hat. Miracles all the time. We may not see it coming. It may come from sideways. Remember last week on the mountain when I was in Idlewild, we saw the doves. The two doves flew together, and then the third one came in, and I said how quiet they came. So it's something might sneak up on you. It might come in a way that you don't expect. And what they're saying is to remember that you can't control what other people think. You can't control how other people view things, going back to the secret or going back to the argument or the disagreement or misunderstanding. And I want to bring that up as well. We just came out of Mercury retrograde, and we're always warned about Mercury retrograde and how we have to be careful to not use the internet or not use text messaging, or it's always best to have in-person communication, because that's a time when things are misunderstood. But sometimes that's all we have. Sometimes we aren't able to be in front of somebody, and they're definitely saying that there has been a misunderstanding that's taken place. That's why there needs to be forgiveness. So when they're talking about you can't control how the viewers see things, it's impossible. We all have our own way of looking at things, looking at the exact same scenario. And it's like Chinese game where you whisper in somebody's ear, and by the time it gets around to the end of the line, it's a completely different story. But it's also, you can two or three or four people can see the same event, and when they tell the story, it's not the same story, because they zero in on different aspects of it. Maybe they zeroed in on a tone of voice. Maybe they zeroed in on a word. Maybe they had a memory that brought back something else to their mind, and they zeroed in on that. So what they're saying is, you're going to understand that when you let go of expectations and you surrender to the whole thing and allow spirit to handle things. I posted a picture of this big giant angel, and it talked about, it reminded me of this other post that I put up yesterday about the eagle. The eagle, when he's got a snake, a venomous snake, which you can think of as an enemy, or somebody who's coming against you, right? Somebody who's out to do you harm. Unfortunately, that happens in the world. And what they say is that the eagle doesn't fight the snake on its territory. It will grab the snake and take it out of its element and take it up into its own territory, where the snake is vulnerable. But it also talks about taking things up to your higher perspective. So going into spirit, or turning it over to spirit and allowing spirit to handle things. And then once it's got the snake up in the air, it drops it, boom, and it's all over. But he's rendered the snake vulnerable and helpless by taking him out of his surroundings. And you can do that by turning to spirit and asking for them to help you, because they can make windows where there were walls. Spirit can do things that we are not capable of doing, but with their help we can do amazing things. So I had another thought in my head. It's flying around with the wind. You're going to understand that this whole thing is actually a blessing. It's always a blessing. It's either a blessing or a lesson. And all of these things at this point, they're telling us, are a blessing. And you're going to emerge from this time with a clearer state of mind. You're going to see things in a different light, clearer than you have been able to see things before, previously. And you're going to be able to move forward with more confidence in your life, because things are out in the open. Things are clear now. There's nothing in the way. The obstacles have been removed. And you're going to take this snake, whatever it is. It could be a situation, it could be a person, something that's there to cause you harm. The situation could cause you harm, but you're going to render it helpless by relying on spirit. Oh, that was my message. I posted the picture of this giant angel, and whenever somebody comes against you, be a person, a feeling, a thought. It could be fear. Whatever this thing that threatens to destroy you. It could be depression. It could be anxiety. Whatever it is that threatens to destroy your peace of mind, when it comes against you, I said, I laugh in the face of it. It's like laughing in the face of fear, because And I say to them, you have no idea who walks beside me. And here's this giant angel. And truly, we have angels like right now. They're all around us. They're always all around us. We have myriads of angels around us. We have spiritual help. We are connected at all times to spirit. I just saw an amazing bird, but it's too late for you guys to see it. So we have the help, and we're never alone. So what else they're saying? So you're going to be moving ahead with more confidence, and all of these emotional, after this time period goes by and we go through all of this stuff, the emotional ups and downs that we've been going through, they're going to start stabilizing and things are going to start relaxing. So it's going to be like, we go through, it's kind of like the dark night of the soul. You go through this really tough time, and once the tough time, sometimes it feels like I can't hold on any longer. Sometimes it feels like I'm going to go under. But that's why they're saying when the great wave comes, go to the mountain. What would love do? What would your higher self say? Take your ego self out of it. What would love do? Or turn to spirit and just say, I completely surrender. I can't do this. You need to help me here. And allow them to step in. And when we pray and we ask for spirit to help us, a lot of times we still keep trying to manipulate things or to control things. And they're telling you, just like out here, you're not going to control this. I'm not going to control this wind. I'm not going to stop it. I can pull my hair out of my face, but I'm not going to stop the wind from blowing at me. It's beyond my control. But spirit can do anything. So they're saying, once you give it over to them, get out of your way and let them do what they need to do. My hand is so cold, holding on to this cell phone. You have no idea. I should have worn gloves. Okay, so the next one, this is the last one. And what they're telling us, if I can, man, it's gonna blow big time. It's right here. Divine order. And what they're saying is, so she's got her hands up. She's kind of like surrendering to the divine order of things. And they're saying at this time, you might be thinking, that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all connected to these messages, but of course it does apply to these. It could be just any other aspect of what's going on in the world. You're looking around and you could be sinking into depression, possibly because of what you're dealing with right now, what you're going through. Like I said, you've got a secret that's between two people that you care about. You've got a dilemma. You've had a misunderstanding. You've got a lot of emotional stuff going on right now. And so you might be sinking into depression. There might be anxiety that you're dealing with. Or you could be looking at what's going on in the world right now. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the world. I mean, I was looking at the fact that everyone was dying and it was depressing me. I started totally feeling my age. I started thinking like, I don't have 30 years to be with the man I love. I don't, I kept looking at the clock thinking, time's too short. And I was kind of getting freaked out because of all the deaths that were happening. Glenn Fry from the Eagles, I grew up with the Eagles. That was so depressing for me. I can't even tell you how depressing that was for me. And I had to kind of like shake myself and recognize that it wasn't him that I was worried about. He's doing great. It was me. I thought, man, I'm getting there too. So you might be looking at it and thinking things are in a woeful place, or the things that are happening in Serbia. I've got friends that are over helping the refugees over in Greece that are coming in. I don't even like to watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't have a television for that very reason. But stuff comes on the internet, or the things about animals. I'm more affected with the animals than I am almost anything else. And when I see the posts come up about what people are doing to the animals, and when I watch and I see the animals that I knew when I was a child, and not even just a child, but as a young adult, that are now going extinct. I mean, the white rhino is extinct, and they're talking about how many tigers are left in the world, and pretty soon, certain elephants that are gone, and the giraffe, they say, is almost on the extinction list. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So these things are causing upset to us. But they're saying that everything has a purpose under heaven. Everything serves a purpose, and there's a reason for things happening as they are, or it would not be allowed to happen. The Creator's not going to allow somebody to destroy His planet. It's just not going to happen. So what they're talking about is everything is just like a part of a tapestry. Everything's interwoven. All of us are connected. Every one of us is connected. And if you sit there and you dwell on the negative, I had to stop dwelling on the deaths, and I have to pull myself away from and start dwelling on the positive. I'm looking at this out here, and I'm not looking at destruction. I mean, I'm sure it can cause destruction. I know that there's houses in California, they're falling off the coast. They're not happy with this rain. My neighbor that owns this, he's mad because look, he just spent $3,000 to have this wharf redone, and it's almost underwater. And he says it can't handle being under the water like that. So they're focusing on that. I'm thinking California's been in a drought forever. Bring the rain. So I'm trying to focus on the positive. So they're asking for you to focus on the positive. They're asking for you to understand that while things can look negative on the outside, they all serve a higher purpose. And believing that things are not the way that you think that they should be only causes you to be more disappointed and more fearful and more angry. And this is in every situation. The situation that you're in, people are like, okay,